Hello and welcome. I'm Xelight and this is my channel. And today I'm going to tell you about a crime so gruesome that you have to ask yourself, is it possible that humans can commit these types of crimes? Of course, we know it's true that humans are capable of all kinds of atrocities. And this one, well, it does stand out. A Michigan man was lured to someone's house. It was supposed to be a date. And well, I'm going to tell you how it went. Kevin Bacon was a 25-year-old hairdresser. He was known for his colorful hair and his wardrobe. He stood out in the crowd. He was looking for love and acceptance like everybody. And he went on to Grindr to see if he could find someone who he could match with. Not only did he stand out because of his flamboyant style, but he stood over 6 feet tall. He was a big guy. He had worked his way up from being a receptionist to a stylist at his local salon, and at the same time, he was studying psychology at the University of Michigan-Flint, where he also volunteered as a peer educator in the Gender and Sexuality Center. On the outside, he appeared to be full of confidence and was a familiar face in a small suburb of Swartz Creek, Michigan. Kevin really wanted to be part of a bigger community where he could meet more people and relate to more people. So he was saving up his money to move to Chicago. In the meantime, Kevin was on Grindr. He would tell his friends about the encounters he had, people he'd met. Kevin had suffered from some mental health problems over the years, and his friends knew that he was just searching for love. On December 24th, 2019, Kevin told his housemate, Michelle, that he'd been on Grindr and he had a match and a date. So at around 5 o'clock, Christmas Eve, he got into his car and he set off. The next morning, on Christmas Day, Kevin's family waited for him because they had a tradition of having breakfast together on Christmas Day, and Kevin didn't show up. So they were concerned, and they reported him missing. And his roommate confirmed that he hadn't returned, and she hadn't seen him again. Over the next 3 days, the friends and family of Kevin and the police searched for him. People came in from other towns. They scoured the farmlands and the fields to see if somebody had, put his body out there. They went by the railroad tracks to make sure that something hadn't happened with the train. And the family was reaching out to the public and asking them for information. Then police found Kevin's car, and it was parked at a family dollar store, which was about 5 miles from where he lived. Inside the car, they found his wallet and his cell phone. When they looked at the messages on Kevin's phone, they spotted the conversation between Kevin and a man called Mark Latunsky. Mark lived in rural Bennington Township, which was about 20 miles away from where Kevin lived. The police officers went to go visit him in hopes that he would know where Kevin was. When Mark answered the door on the 28th of September, he was calm and didn't seem to be nervous at all. So the police asked if they could search his home, and he didn't require them to get a search warrant. He said, "Sure, come on in." So they did. And they went down into the basement, and in the basement they found a secret room. And inside that room was a shocking discovery. Kevin's naked body was hanging upside down by his ankles. from the rafters. His throat had been slit, and there were cuts to his body where he had been mutilated. Mark admitted that he had stabbed Kevin. He had stabbed him in the back, and then he had hoisted him up and hung him upside down, cut off his testicles, and cooked them and ate them. If you think that's as bad as it's going to get, no. Because Mark talked about how he was going to use Kevin's blood and his bones to fertilize his garden, and that he was hoping that he could make jerky out of his muscles. He went so far as he bought a dehydrator to use on Kevin's muscles to make jerky. Latunsky was arrested and taken into custody. It turned out that he was a divorced father of 4, and the police did intercept the hydrator. More men came forward, and they said that they had fled from Mark's home. The first one had woken up after meeting Mark at a bus station to find himself tied in Mark's basement. The second one also claimed that he'd been held against his will in the house. Both had managed to escape, and they had reported the incidents, but neither one of them decided to press charges. Likely, being from a small town and everybody knows each other, they probably didn't want to bring this kind of a situation out to the open. When Mark was questioned, he claimed that Kevin had asked him to kill him, and that's why he slit his throat. But according to reports, it was very clear from the messages that they had left on the phone that Kevin was trying to protect himself. He went so far as to ask Mark to confirm that he was going to be safe on their date. When Mark was charged with murder, along with dismemberment and mutilation of a dead body, Kevin's shocking death and the grisly details spread far and wide. So much so that the actor Kevin Bacon acknowledged that he shared the same name with this man and that he felt so sorry for his family. He posted, "For obvious reasons, I'm thinking about this morning and about the friends and family of this young person, Kevin Bacon. His life was taken from him much too soon. His love was hairdressing. I bet he would have done a great job on this mess of mine. R.I.P. KB." In 2020, Mark tried the insanity defense, but it was denied, and he was due to stand trial on October of 2022, but he made a plea, and the judge deciding the case took it, and he was to decide whether he was going to sentence him to first-degree or second-degree murder. The prosecution described how Kevin was lured to his death and that Mark had ordered the dehydrator so he could create human jerky. They said that is not what Kevin wanted. Kevin wanted a date. Kevin wanted somebody to love him. He did not want to be killed. He wanted to be protected. He wanted to make sure he was going to go home that night. And the defense claimed that Mark wasn't capable of understanding the consequences of the murder, and that he had even gone to a festive party right after killing Kevin. He still had Kevin's blood on him. So the judge ruled that this killing was premeditated, and he was guilty of first-degree murder. The judge is quoted as saying, "The court does not find this crime committed in the heat of passion. This court finds this is a crime of cold calculation. Kevin Bacon's death was Mark Latunsky's design." Kevin's family gave statements to the court. They told Mark how he had devastated their lives. His mother, weeping, describing her son. But he was sentenced. They'll never get their son back, but they will know that his murderer can't hurt anyone else anymore. And that's at least some comfort. Thank you for coming to my channel, and good night.